So today we are going to be making this app-like navigation bar in Elementor. Now this works as a secondary menu here in this web page, or you can use this as a primary navigation bar of your website. Here you can see how this menu looks like in mobile. If I go and click any part of this, you can see that's actually working to this page over here. But again, it doesn't have to be just a secondary menu. I am going to be showing you how to build this as the main menu of your website. So back on desktop, you can see as I scroll down, how it automatically just keeps track of where on the page it is. And if I go and click any part, you can see it linked over here to that page. So it works completely with the idea of whatever container that you put in there. So whether you want to build this as the main navigation or as a secondary menu, this is still going to work just as well. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to build this. And for those that are in a hurry and just want the complete thing, there's going to be a link in the description of this video where you can go and download this as a complete template. And for the rest of you guys, I'm going to show you exactly how to build this. For those of you who decided just to download it, once you've downloaded it from that link in the description, you're going to have this zip file. So all you have to do is extract the files from it. And this JSON file right over here is what you're going to import into Elementor. I'm going to show you how to do that now real quick. So in the back end of your WordPress website, you'd go into templates and you'd go into the theme builder. Here in the theme builder, we're going to be going into the header and we can just say add new. Here in the Elementor page builder, all you have to do is click on this import templates icon. Then all you have to do is take this JSON file and then just drop it into this window and it'll import it for you. You are going to be presented with this screen over here. This is standard for template files. All you say is continue and then it'll import it into your library. And then the last thing you have to do is just find it and say insert. And there you go, you have the complete navigation. And if you click on these icons, or if you look at the navigator on the right hand side, then you can see that these are the icon boxes and each one of these are these over here. Then you can just customize the icon, the title, and then the link where you want this to go to. If you want to change the colors of this, on the icon box, you go to style, you go to content, and then the title you change to white. So now if we publish, you'll see that it changes to white or whatever other color that you'd like. You just have to make sure that it's going to be to all the icons. If you want to change the other colors to this, then that's very easy to do. You go to the main container, under advanced, in the custom CSS, these very first two lines is what's going to be the color of the background and the active menu color. So right now I have this purple, but you can change this to whatever color you'd want and everything is just going to work just perfectly. But like I said, I'm going to show you how to build this. So let me just go and delete this and let's start this from scratch. So the first thing we're going to need obviously is going to be the main container. So let's go and add that over here now. Now the settings of this container is we want this full width. We're going to put the width to 100%. The direction, we want this horizontally and we want everything centerfied. So justify content center and align item center. The gap over here, we are going to set this to 0. Now if we go over to style, you can put a background color to this if you want, but it's not going to make any difference because it's going to be in the custom code on those very first two lines like I showed before of where to change the colors. So you don't have to worry about that over here. The other setting we're going to change over here is the border. This, we want this to a border radius of 15 and we want a box shadow to this just to offset it off the page. But do be careful with the shadow. So the default is half transparent black. The max you can really go is 20%. If you want less, great. The most, 20% is the best you want to go with in this. And then everything else is fine here for the shadow. Now if we go over to advanced, we're going to delink this padding. The top we're going to keep it to 0. The right we want a 25. The bottom we want a 12. And the left we want 25. Now the position of this, we are going to say it's fixed. We're going to keep the horizontal orientation to the left. We're going to change this to percentage and we're going to say 50. Then the vertical, we want this at the bottom. We're going to keep this on pixels and we're going to say 30. Now here under CSS classes, we have to give a class name. The class name that we're going to be using is icon menu. While we're here, the Z index, we want to make sure that this is on top of everything. So we're going to give this a Z index of 150. So we just have to make sure that's on top of everything there when it's actually on the page. Now we are going to be putting code into this container, but we'll do this near the end so that you can see everything pretty easily. And if you don't have your navigator over here on the right hand side, it's this icon right over here that opens up your structure window. Okay, so now that we're done with desktop mode, this is already fine for tablets. You don't have to worry about tablet. Let's go into the mobile settings of this container. So here in mobile mode, we're going to go into settings and on the border, we're going to take this from 15 and we're going to put it to 0. Because remember, it's going to be sitting at the bottom of the screen. Then under advanced, we're going to change the settings of the padding here as well. So we're going to uncheck this. The first one we're going to keep to 0. The second one for the right hand side is going to be 20. The bottom is going to be 12. And the left side is going to be 20. If we scroll down, we can leave the horizontal orientation, but the vertical, we're going to change this to -1. because we really want this at the bottom of the screen. Okay, and that's all the settings that we need for this container. If we go back into desktop mode, we're going to now add the icon boxes to this. So we click on this plus sign. Here we're going to search for the icon box, this one right over here, click and drag it into the container here at the bottom and let go. Now every menu item is going to be its own icon box, so depending on how many you need is how many you're going to put in. While we're putting things into this container, let's go and add two other things. The first one is going to be the divider. Here's the divider, click and drag it, put it in and let go. And the second thing is going to be the HTML widget. And this, we're going to do the same thing. Click, drag, let go. Okay, so now on the right hand side menu, you can see we've got the icon box, divider, and HTML widget. We need this in a particular order and it can only be in this order. So we need to take this icon box, we need to drag it to the top, and HTML has to be in the bottom with the divider on top of it. And that's how it has to stay. So no matter how many icon boxes you have, they always have to be next to each other. Then the divider is going to be second last and HTML is going to be last. The way the code works, so it doesn't have to worry about how many icons there are. So now that we have that all ready to go, we're going to click on this icon box and we're going to change the settings of this. For this first one, I'm going to keep it to the star, but I want the stroked one. So we're going to go star. It's this hollowed out stroked one over here. We're going to click that and say insert. The description, we don't need a description at all. We are only focusing on the heading. So this one's going to be home. And then here you'd paste the link. If it's not going to be a page URL as the main navigation, then it's going to be an ID that you're going to give to container. So just like on my web page, if I click on this website packages, the custom ID that's over there is going to be this link over here. So what I mean by that is, like, if I click on this container and under advanced, if you go down just above the CSS class, it's got the ID. You just give an ID there of where you want this thing to link to that page. This is a standard WordPress thing. So what you do is just give a custom name, say services, if it was that sort of type of container on that page. On this icon box, all you have to do is put hash server and it'll link it to that container. So if when someone actually clicks to that container, say like this Google Ads one, this one, the ID was Google Ads, and then I put that hashtag Google Ads and it linked it there. This one was website packages as one word, and then I just linked it as website packages. But again, that's only if you're doing it as a secondary menu. If this is going to be a primary menu, then you just can put the page URL there. But right now, this is the home one. So instead of putting the whole home URL, what you can do is click on this dynamic tags. And you just come down to site URL, then it'll always go back to that exact page that is your home page. Now that we have all this over here, we're going to go to style. The icon spacing, we want this to 0. The content spacing, we're going to actually set this to 0. It is blank, but we're just going to set it to 0. Then for the icon, we want the color to be black. The size, we're going to make this about a 20 pixel. And then the content color, the title, I'm going to change this to black as well. Then for the typography, I'm going to go with about a 12 pixel. And then the line height, I'm going to put this to EM. I'm just going to say 1. Then if we go to advanced, the width of this, we're going to say custom. And we want this to be pixels. And we're going to say that this is 60. And that's it. That is all the things that we have to do for this particular icon. Now, depending on how many pages you want, that's how many times you're going to duplicate this. So let's just say in this example, we're just going to duplicate this 4 more times for 5 pages in total. So it's going to duplicate, 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 and duplicate. Now for each one of these icon boxes, you just have to change the icon and the title and then the URL. So the second one, I'm going to say maybe a user, say insert, and then this can be about, and then the URL can be whatever URL you want or container name. Then the third one, I'm going to do the same thing, change the icon. I'm going to go with this heart, and this one can be services, and then again just put in whatever URL. And let's go to the fourth one, same thing. This one I'm going to say hand, I'm going to look for a peace sign or something. There we go, insert. This one can be reviews, and again we put in the site URL, so this one's going to put a hash here for this tutorial. The fifth one, I'm going to look for the phone because I want for contact us. This one over here, say insert. Now as you can see, this is a filled out icon, it's not a stroked icon. There is a trick in the code that I put in as well, so these can all look uniform. Use it, don't use it, it's up to you. So now I'm going to insert this. I'm going to change the title to contact. The URL, you do the same thing as normal. But if you want this to be stroked and not filled in like this, you go under advanced. Under CSS classes, you just have to say stroke. Now when we paste the code, it's going to look for the stroke and then it's going to make it as an outlined as the rest of these over here. So now we've done everything for the actual page links. Next thing we're going to do is make this circle over here. As you can see, as I'm hovering over, we're going to make that circle right over there, and we're going to be using that divider that we had put in. So now if you click on this divider, the settings of this, we're going to make sure it's a solid 100%. We don't have to change anything else over here. We go under style. We're going to make sure that this is 60 pixels. The gap is going to be 0. We're going to change this color from black, and we're going to make this completely transparent. Very important. Under advanced, we're going to go to width. It's going to be custom width. We're going to set this to pixels, and we're going to say that this is 60 as well. For the position, we're going to change this to absolute. We're going to keep the top 0, and for the offset of the vertical, we're going to give this a -33. Okay, so now that we have the vertical orientation at -33, the Z index, we have to put this as -1. Now if we go down to border, we're going to change some settings here. Now the border radius is going to be 50, and we're going to give the exact box shadow that we put in for the container. We're going to put it here. If you're not sure exactly what that shadow was, you just go to the container and the style, go to border, you click on this pencil, this color here, you just copy it, and then make sure that you know the rest of the settings that you chose. Go back to the divider, in advanced, back to border, this box shadow, and then you can just paste that exact box shadow so that it's just uniform through the whole menu. Okay, so now that we've put the color in there, we have to change just a little bit of the settings of the blur. So the blur, we're going to put this as a 5, and the vertical, we're going to put this as a -5. Okay, so guess what? We're done with customizing this whole thing. Doesn't look like anything like I showed you, but now the code is where all the magic happens. So in the description of this video, there's going to be a link to a reference page on my website that's going to have all the code that we're going to be putting into this thing. There's only 2 different codes you have to copy. Absolutely nice and easy for you to do. Okay, once you click that link, it's going to take you to this page. This video is not the video that you're going to see when you're seeing this video, because obviously I haven't uploaded this video yet. But if you scroll down, you're going to see this very first piece of code. What we're going to do is going to go to the right hand side, just say copy. Back in this editor, we're going to take this, we're going to click on the container. Under advanced, right at the bottom is that custom CSS, and we just paste it right over there. Oh look, menu's starting to take shape. Now we're going to go back to that reference page. The second code we're going to copy, if you scroll down past the first one, you go and click and copy that. Then we go into the divider. Under advanced, we scroll down to custom CSS, and we're going to paste right over here. And then the final code is in this HTML widget. We go down to the last piece of code, we go and copy that back inside the editor, and we paste that. Now if we click and publish, over here you can save for the entire site, save and close. And if you go and preview it, there's a menu working on the front end like it's supposed to. Now if we go into mobile view, you can see there's that working menu, and if you want to go and change this color of this reviews from black to white, on the icon box, you go to style, you go to content, and then the title, you change to white. So now if we publish, you'll see that it changes to white or whatever other color that you'd like. You just have to make sure that it's going to be to all the icons. Now, if you followed along this far, I've got an extra hidden gem right inside this code for you. So if you go click on the main container, and under advanced, if you scroll down to this icon menu and you click on that and you type in a space V2, publish that. Now if you go into the front end, you have a whole different look to this whole thing. So before we had a whole big circle, so now we've got the message with the name on top and the icon on the bottom. So as you go around, you can see there's the big dome with the icon on top. Now we've got the actual writing as a little speech bubble. Now if you want to change it back, very easy, click on the main container. Here under the class, just delete this, the V2 and that space that you put in. Publish again, and in the front end, you got back to your original design. All built in, the same menu.
I hope you liked this video. If you did, smash that like button. And if you haven't subscribed, consider subscribing as well. That stuff makes a big difference to a small channel like mine. If you have any suggestions or anything, then just put a comment down below. Let me see what I can do. And I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.